Are we back to Nerfdivers? That's the question moving around within parts of the Helldivers community, as Arrowhead has now returned from holiday and pushed out a patch this morning where part of it worked, part of it didn't, and parts of it took away player favorite mechanics. It's been an interesting morning for sure, because the timing and optics around this patch are questionable, especially when there are far more important issues that needed prioritizing. What happened and why? Well, that's what we need to take a dive into, because the goalpost is once again slowly being pushed towards a different version of Helldivers, and it has players concerned. But of course, the talk this morning has been around the latest patch Arrowhead pushed live, setting off a chain reaction of responses, which we're going to get into, but here's the basics for this one. There was a fix for crashing while tinkering with weapon customization, which did not go so well.
The eruptor has been fixed. That's great. That's great. But if we use any of the other ones I had an issue with, let's see if I can get on the lib penetrator now. No. No. No, I can't. 𝗕patch. 𝗕patch.
They fixed a crash after getting killed by explosions, which I'm not that familiar with this one, but I will say that I'm seeing, and I have been seeing, lots of random explosions just kind of all over the place. Running to the next objective, nothing around you. Explosion, standing on a timed POI. Explosion with no explanation or enemies around that could have hurled something at me. Okay, fellas, here's where we actually get to the good stuff. First up, the misfire machine, aka the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, has had its spread decreased by 75% to improve accuracy. Now, I think I've heard that Arrowhead was really trying to get the control group Warbond pushed live before they went on summer vacation, but you know, if this thing had seen more than 30 seconds of testing, the horrible off-center shots and misfires would have been instantly picked up on, and it would have been corrected before hitting into the player's hands. Here's also what I wanted to see: the warp pack. No longer shows in first person. Okay, disable the pack around shuttles, preventing any Helldivers escapees, of course. You are done. It is time to go home. Fix the desync between clients when using the warp pack to get out of a vehicle. Yeah, we need to talk about this because the timing is poor, to say the least. The fix was not needed, and timing. But yeah, let's move on. Enemy navigation issues in cities preventing them from traversing certain areas. But I'm not seeing anything here to do with enemies clipping into objects like buildings or under structures, allowing them to attack players from below ground. There's also some sort of fix for players who could not get access to their DLC or war bonds. Okay, since there is no DLC in Helldivers, I wonder what they're referring to here. Maybe someone can drop me a comment and explain that one to me. And finally, of course, now you can break out the manic laughter emote on your ship and still hear the ambient sounds from your super destroyer while you laugh like a fucking maniac. I'll leave a link to these patch notes down in the video description, and if I remember correctly, it was something like 115 megs for me on PC, and maybe someone on PS5 can drop the file size for their download also down in the comment section. But overall, not an impressive patch, to say the least. In fact, most to all of this could have waited for a much larger patch, one that was designed to improve the stability and performance of the game, but alas, there's nothing here aimed at any of those aspects. And they could have just pushed through the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 spread fix without a write-up and called it a day and been done with it. Listen, to come back from, what was it, 3 weeks away from the studio, and to think that we were about to get a 15 to 20 gig patch the day after they get back is crazy. Does the game need it? Absolutely, but that's a huge ask, because think about it. You've been away for almost a month. You come back to the office. There's, of course, a mountain of issues now with the game. Things have to be prioritized. Bugs have to be duplicated and chased down. Hell, if they're like me, I usually need a few days after returning to work just to reacclimate myself to working. All of that aside, though, there are major issues with what was pushed out today. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 fix aside, which should have never made it through testing to the live product, but it did. That's good to see that one handled. We also saw the clip of CloudPlays trying out the weapon customization crashes live on stream. They don't work. Again, that's been going on for months now, especially for console players. And luckily, there is a fix involving equipping the weapon, diving planetside with that weapon, immediately backing out of the mission back up to your Super Destroyer, at which point, for some reason, you can then customize the weapon without the game crashing. So if you are crashing, try that out. Now, where this thing starts to really unravel for a lot of people is when the fun police show up first thing right after vacation and with everything that needs attention currently in the game. And one of the things that's super cool, it's meme worthy and produced a ton of crazy clips, was the warp pack. I don't know if this statement about desync between clients when using the warp pack to get out of a vehicle is tied to the removal of the extraction shuttle warps, and if it is, it's worded in an odd manner, but warping off the ship and watching it return to space while you are planetside and looking up at it was cinematic. It was fun. And in many ways, it's at the center of this push by Arrowhead, where they've been removing very specific outliers from the game, often with no notice to the player base. For instance, you need to go check out CrazyMrPipz video where he talks about not being able to stun chargers with a stun lance anymore. Now, you used to be able to do it, now you can't. And it was certainly a niche playstyle, running bugs melee only. And of course, if you want to watch that video, I'll leave a link to it down in my video description. You should definitely go check it out. But the lance is confirmed can no longer overpin charger leg armor, effectively taking that playstyle off the board. Same with reloading while driving the FRV. It's gone. In fact, they're all gone, which when looking at the totality of what's slowly being taken away, Arrowhead's making a big mistake. Especially when you look at the things that need to be prioritized. Dropping down to the planet frequently makes everyone's game chug down to 3 to 5 FPS, if not crash. My game will frequently go to a black screen while playing and then come back a few seconds later. By the way, no other game I own does this, and I suspect it's the 𝗵𝗏𝗏 Game Guard. But yeah, it's definitely tough to play when you can't see a damn thing. There's also massive audio issues, audio completely dropping out, audio sounding like it's underwater, massive tanks and chargers making zero sounds as they walk up behind you. Ragdolling was broken a while ago. It's been back for a while now. Status effects are iffy if they will apply to an entire mob. And, you know, I could keep on going. I mean, here's a clip of me with the boys a few nights ago, and the game was micro-freezing every 60 to 90 seconds over the course of a 40-minute round. I want to talk about frustrating. This is it. Now, before I continue on, let's actually go full stop here. I don't want you to think that what I'm saying is doom diving. I'm Team Helldivers. I love this game, and when it's working correctly and the performance is on point, especially with the new bug strains, the mission types, and those major events, this game is absolute peak. But to come back from your time away from the studio and 2 of your first inclusions in a patch is to remove the warp pack from shuttles, which players loved, and personally I don't see any differences with my game performance when someone did it versus not doing it. And one of the other items you include is a fix for an emote. Really? I'm gonna say this as we start to wrap things up. I don't think we are back to full-on Nerfdivers 1.0, but what we are starting to see is a new type of Nerf appearing, where the studio goes in, decides to take something out of the player's hands, possibly for performance-related issues, possibly for realism. There's no clarification because there's no patch notes, and it feels like the goalpost is slowly being moved again in that direction, towards realism. We all saw what happened when the push towards Tarkov in space started to win in the studio design meetings, and it nearly fractured the Helldivers player base. But when you see quiet changes to this, silent changes to that, removal of a player favorite mechanic with no discernible performance gains each time these things are removed, it makes you wonder. I'll, of course, keep an eye on things as they progress, and hopefully we'll see a major performance pass performed on the game in the very near future. Also, if you happen to like that bottom 10 stratagem weapon video I recently published, the top 10 video is now in editing and will be hitting the channel in the very near future, so definitely be on the lookout for that one. If you happen to like this video, please take a moment to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my future upload alerts. A massive thanks goes out to all of our current channel members, for without your support, content like this would not be possible. And until the next one, this is 𝐓𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 signing off.